So the sugya that is that all I got to about gaiva and shval ruach and all being a person who knows his place. So I thought it's appropriate to bring in.
You have to mute everyone, ladies. You have to mute everyone.
I got to mute people. I didn't mute anybody. Okay, that's better. Okay, so I thought we do go through the Rambam a little bit. This is the Rambam in Hilchos Deis. This is the Rambam in Hilchos Deis, Perek Beis, Halacha Gimel. There are certain. The Rambam's opinion is a person should always take the middle road. However, there's certain midos that you should not go ahead and take the middle road. In other words, you distance yourself as much as possible from these midos. Who goyvav leva? It's a person who is haughty. They touch haughty. We'll try to get a better understanding this evening what it means. Shein derech hatoiva she adam anav bilbad. That it's not only enough to be an anav. El shval ruach. You should go ahead and be low in spirit. That is something you should go and be. That Moshe was anav ma'oid. Anav bilbad. It's the word ma'oid. It's not enough to be an anav. You have to be an anav ma'oid. You have to go to the extreme. The extreme of goiva leva is to be shval ruach. It tells us very much you should be shval ruach. We saw this Gemara this morning. Anyone who is big of heart, kafa b'ikar, he's denying Kadosh Baruch Hu. Shnemar v'rom levavcha shachachtas Hashem elokecha. You forget Hashem. We're going to see this pasuk in a few minutes. We're going to see this pasuk in a few minutes. That a person who is levav, it's not, guys, I'm a big shot. A big shot doesn't do the job. A person who's goyvav leiv, he thinks that he's a deya in the world. He thinks there's something else besides the Rabbi Shalom. He thinks he's in control of something. He's kafa be'ikah. He's denying Kadosh Baruch Hu. V'oid amru b'shamta b'shmaitz man ispe gases ruach ba'afil miktsasa. The chayne kas. Oh, I brought it this morning, guys. Right? Not only the midah of gaiva, the midah of kas is midah ra he adl ma'oid. And also, it's the same thing. It takes a person away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because the person who by nature is angry, he's so full of himself. The world's coming to him. And so the midah of being goyva leva, of having high of heart, and the midah of being a kas, these are two things that a person should stay away from. A person should teach himself, don't get angry. Even something that's right to get angry about. Right? It's something right to get angry about. And if you want to use anger as a mean of placing fear in your household, if you're a leader, then show yourself in front of them like you're angry in order to put them in their place. But in himself, he should know that what? In other words, my Rabbi once said that my Rabbi Lip once told me Sotah Rosh Hashiva get very, very angry at a person. And he didn't understand how could it be. The Rosh Hashiva was so in control of himself. And the Rosh Hashiva turned to Rav Lipkin in the middle. He goes and said in Yiddish, I'm really a good actor. I can control myself at any, but this person needed me to act a certain way at a certain time. So this is what the Gemara is discussing. They're discussing a person. In other words, I don't want you to mistakenly think that just a person feels something about himself. That we're not discussing that. We're discussing about a person whose opinion is so important to them that they think they have control of their lives. They think they have a say in what goes on in the world. And there's certain things that again, people with great wealth, with people with political power, these are things that can bring a person out of this world. That's what we're speaking about. I mean, lahavdil, a person like Trump, he's to the other extreme. But we all know wealthy people or people who consider themselves so important. That's what we're discussing. We're discussing a person whose importance in life will take him away from a Kodesh Baruch Hu. And the Gemara is going to go ahead and you lose yourself because it just means pasuk after pasuk after pasuk. But a person should know what they are. We saw Gemara in Nedarim that in a Kodesh Baruch Hu mashva shchinaso al misho giba chacham v'ashem onav. A person that Kodesh Baruch Hu is mashva shchina, a person who has these qualities. He's intelligent, he's strong, he's smart, right? But he's an onav. We asked at the time. Why did we ask? We said, Bishlam, if you're smart, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you a gift. If you're rich, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you a gift. If you're strong, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you a gift. The only thing he didn't give you is anivus. That's something you had to work on. So he spoke out to Nefesh HaChaim at the time that a person who has a reason to be a Baal Gaiva, a person who has a reason to be haughty, and nonetheless is an anav, that's a person that's right for Ashras Hashrina. That's a person that it's right for Shrina to be on. I heard Pashin the Kotzkel, this is a Kabbalah Gavart. We speak about why was the Torah given on Sinai? Because it was the humblest, correct? But he said in Yiddish, but Sinai is fort given abarg. It was still a mountain. It was a small mountain, but it was a mountain. In other words, there was epis there. There was something to go ahead. It wasn't a flatlands. It wasn't a valley. Sinai was a mountain, albeit a small mountain, but a mountain. And that's the point. Something that you have something, and nonetheless you're an honest. That's the discussion of this Gemara, the gaiva of this situation. Okay, just 1 second. No, the reason I want to be magdim this is because we can just read through the Gemara and it is going to lose its flavor because it just is a pasuk after pasuk. But this is the nakuda. This is the nakuda. Person has to know their place. They have to know what they are. So there's a Maisa with my Rabbi. I think made him big reishim upon me. I say it over all the time. He was being Menachem Abel, a very famous person who lost his mother, and he was being Menachem Abel, the person. And there was a big Rosh Yeshiva there. I won't say his name. And my Rebbe said over to he was being Menachem, the person, and my Rebbe said, Pshat, there's a pasuk in Eicha. It says, Yisaimim hayinu ve'einav. You're Yisaimim, and you don't have a father. So yes, Rashiva asked, what do you mean? Of course, if you're a Yasim, you don't have a father. Which orphan has a father? So my Rebbe said that they find two sorts of Yisaimim. You saw a Yasim that saw the father, and you saw a Yasim that didn't see the father. A Yasim that saw a father, there's a continuity. He saw his father, but a Yasim that didn't see his father is very, very lost. Right? Rashiva held after the war that this generation, Yisayim Mayinu ve'einav, you're Yisayim ve'einav. You don't have a father. You don't know. You didn't see. Anyway, this Rosh Hashiva got all fahits. They got heated up because Yiftach b'dayrei, Shmuel b'dayrei. All you have in your generation, whoever is there, that's who you follow. That's the people you follow. What are you saying that so you didn't see the last generation? Whoever's in your generation. My Rebbe said in his he said in Yiddish, Ich euchit gleich Kovid, a fart mit das sagen die Emes. Because I also like Kovid, but you have to tell the truth. Ich euchit gleich Kovid, you have to tell the truth. He said that Rosh Hashiva they said it became Achniyat, my Rebbe afterwards. But Moshe, somebody was once arguing with Rav Moshe. Rav Moshe, he was a younger man, and he had a day in halacha, and he was arguing with Rav Moshe, and he was getting a little out of hand. And Rav Moshe stopped and said to him, "Be careful and remember who you're talking to." Rav Moshe was the biggest son of anybody. Rav Moshe was an Anavad Ma'od, but that means you have to know who you are also. The point is you have to know there's a Rabbi Shalom. That's the whole point of being a Goy V'Levav. You can know who you are, but you have to know there's a Rabbi Shalom. The Gemara under discussion is the person whose gaiva is such, his day is such, it takes him away from a Kodesh Baruch Hu. So with that Hakdama, we can begin. Okay, we're up to Dalit Amid Beis. And the pasuk said that we quoted the pasuk. The pasuk said, "Tayavas Hashem kol gavav leiv." Kodesh Baruch Hu abominates anyone who's gavav leiv. And it says, "Lod yod liyod lo yinokeh." It says, "Yod liyod, hand to hand lo yinokeh." He will not be nokeh. Will not be spared. Right? He won't be clean. What does that mean? So it says the Gemara, "Amarav kol haba al eishesish." Anyone who's with eishesish, afilu hikneu la Kodesh Baruch Hu shmayim v'aretz. Even if he caused to acquire shmayim v'aretz like Avram Avinu, Avram Avinu, he caused Shemayim Ba'aretz to be to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Until Avram Avinu came along, everything belonged, there was no Hashem. Hashem was lost from this world. Avram, it says by Malki Tzedek, he was Kohen L'Kel Elyon. By Avram, he says, Baruch Avram L'Kel Elyon, Kohen Shemayim Ba'aretz. D'chsiv bei Harig Moisi Yodi El Hashem, Kel Elyon, Kohen Shemayim Ba'aretz. Avram caused, the Kliyaka says, he caused HaKadosh Baruch Hu to be the master of this world, because he brought Hashem's presence into this world. So lo yinakim midin shel gehenim. So the Rabbi's darshan, the yod liyod, and the pasuk says, the first part of the pasuk is Tavas Hashem kol gavav leiv lashon ta'eva. He's learning to be an adulterer. Is anyone kol gavav leiv yod liyod lo yinakim midin shel gehenim. So kashal hu debei Rabbi Shila hay yod liyod lo yinakeh yodi mi boile. It shouldn't say hand to hand. It should simply say yodi, my hand. Like Avram said, my hand. Hari Moisi Yodi, my hand. Elo Ami Deber of Shila. What is the pasuk speaking about? I feel kibul Torah k'meish Rabbeinu. Even if a person is kibul Torah k'meish Rabbeinu, if he's a Bal Gaiva, if he's Gaiva Leva, D'chsiv me'mina eish dash lamay. Moshe says his right hand got a Torah of fire. Nonetheless, lo yinake midin shel gehenim. So the Gemara has a problem with that as well. It should be hayad liyad. It should say yod miyod, because you received it from the hands of Moshe, not hand to hand, but hand from hand. Alam Rabbi Yochanan says, Rabbi Yochanan Amid Aleph says, Rabbi Yochanan, afilu eiset tzedakah b'seiser. Even a person who's a Bal Gaiva and he gives tzedakah b'seiser, which is a very, very high thing to do, to give tzedakah in the context. That's the way. The pasuk says, Matan b'seiser, a person who gives matana b'seiser, midina shel gehenim. Okay, now, so we're speaking about the negativity of Gasei Ruach and the punishment of Gasei Ruach. Where's the warning not to be Gasei Ruach? You think it's a svara, but to get punished, you need more than a svara. So Azhar Gasei Ruach minayim. Where's the Azhar for Gasei Ruach? So Amar Rava, Amar Zeiri, says Rava in the name of Zeiri, Shimu v'azinu al tigbahu. It's a pasuk. He's quoting a pasuk in Yirmiyah. It says that Shimu is heretz chtzut. Listen up, right? V'azinu herkin al tigbahu. Don't be haughty. Rav Nachman Yitzchak Amar Mihacha. He has a different pasuk. It says v'ramla. This is the pasuk the Rambam just quoted, fellas. V'ramla v'avecha v'shachachta, and your heart you'll become fully yourself. V'shachachta, you'll forget Hashem. Now, where do you see it's a lav? Iksiv hisham lecha pentishkachas Hashem elokecha. Be careful that you shouldn't forget Hashem. Uchilav oven amar Rabbi Loi. Rav oven amar Rabbi Loi. Kamakum shnemar. It says in the Torah hisham pen baal. Wherever it says though the shyness ain't elab loisase. It's only a loisase. Take a look at. Let's do Rashi over here. Says Rashi. 3 lines down. V'ram lebavcha v'shachachta alma megoyva leva. Right, someone who's a goy v'leiv, he's going to come to forget. Who's he going to forget, fellas? He's going to forget his creator. This is mamish the hakdama I gave. Right, we're speaking about a person whose gaiva is such, he's going to forget the Rabbeinu Shalom because he thinks so much of himself. And by shikha, to forget Hashem, you're commanded, as it says, Hisham lecha pentishkach. Be careful lest you forget. And Hisham is a lav. So mamela, it's like a chain. If you're going to be a Bal Gaiva, you're going to forget Hashem. And it's us to forget Hashem. So Mamela, that's the Asara to going ahead and being a Bal Gaiva. Bal Gaiva doesn't do it justice. And Bal Gaiva is, you can be a Bal Gaiva and still know Hashem. It means a person who, again, his day is so full of himself. Dorish Avira. Zimnin Amalei Mishmei Ravasi. Sometimes he would say in the name of Asi. And sometimes he would say in the name of Ravami. Any person who has gas ruach l'soif mismayet. In the end, he's going to be diminished. In the end, the person's a Bal Gaiva. He's going to HaKadosh Baruch Hu put him in his place. Shenemar, the pasuk says, Roy Moy Ma'at. Where's the pasuk? Roy Moy Ma'at. Pasuk in Iyov. Roy Moy Ma'at ve'inenu. So that's the dash in the pasuk. Roy ma'at. Those that are roim ma'at will be made less. Maybe you'll think that he can still be in this world. The pasuk says, "Ve'inenu roim ma'at ve'inenu." He won't be here. However, he does tshuva. Then nesaf bismanai ka'Avram Avinu. He'll die in the right time, like Avram Avinu. Because what does it say? And this is the continuation of this pasuk. Shneimar v'humchu. They're crushed. Kikol yikvatzun. Kikol, like everyone, they'll jump away. Now, who's Kakol? Ka'Avram Yitzchak Yaakov. Yechsibahu bakol mikol kol. Then lav. And if he doesn't do tshuva, he'll be chopped off like the top of a shiboilus of a stalk. My koresh shiboilus, one in Rosh shiboilus, Rav Huna Rav Chisda, kisosya to shibalta. If you ever look at a stalk of wheat, you have like a beard coming out of the top. You have these little strings going up. That's going to be cut off. The Chadam then says no. The shiboilus atzma, the shiboilus itself would be cut off, not just the top. Shiboilus itself. Now, Bishlam in the Mandiyama kisosya the shibalta. Very good. The Mandiyama says it's the beard, which is the tippy top. That's the top. But you're cutting off the middle of it. What's the head? What do you mean the head? What do you mean the head of shiboilus? Obviously, it's not the head. So Ravasi, person goes into his field in Gavoya Humalake. So where the person goes into the fields, which one does he cut? He cuts the tallest one first. So the roish means over here, not the top. The roish means the first one being cut. Right? If it's according to the sasah, the top, the beard, then it means the top itself. Over here, the roish doesn't mean the top; it means the highest one. That's the one that will be what that'll be cut off first. Okay. Now the pasuk says the es daka ushval ruach. The pasuk says that what that you'll be daka ushval ruach. Okay, exact pasuk. Kikoyamar ram venisa shoichin ad kodesh shemoy moram de kodesh. Guys, here's the pasuk. Eshkoin the esdaka. Eshkoin means I will reside. The esdaka with those who are humble. Ushval ruach lahachiyas ruach shavalim, to go ahead and give life to the people who are of low nature. Ulachayas leif nivkoyin. Okay, so now it says, but esdaka shval ruach. That Kadosh Baruch Hu says, I'll be living with the what? With the people who are low of spirit. Now the question is, does the Kadosh Baruch Hu elevate the one that's low of spirit, or does Kadosh Baruch Hu descend to be with the one that's low of spirit? Either way is going to be there. The question is, that they come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, or does HaKadosh Baruch Hu come to them? And that's the Machloikas Amaroyim. Rav Huna Rav Chisda Chad Amar Iti Daka. I'll elevate him. He will be elevated to be with me. Chad Amar Ni Et Daka. I'll go down to him. It makes more sense to say Kimanda Amar Ani Et Daka, that I'll go down and I will join the one who is low of spirit. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Eniach Kol Harim Gavois. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he gave the Torah, he didn't give it on, as we spoke at, he didn't give it on just any mountain. He came down and he was Mashra Shechina on Har Sinai. Well, he got Har Sinai Lamaila, but he didn't go ahead and raise Har Sinai above. So you see that Har Sinai was the lowly of the mountains. HaKadosh Baruch Hu descended, was among him. So to the people, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will descend and be among them, rather than just as he didn't elevate Sinai, he won't elevate the despondent people to be with him. Rabbi Yosef, Adam midas kainer. Person should learn from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he left all the high mountains and hills. Sinai, and he rested on Har Sinai. We all know, and by the snare, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is by the snare. That listen, when the Torah goes ahead and speaks out the Ish Moshe Anav Moed, Mikol Adam Apnei Adama, when it's speaking of that all the midas Moshe had, and Shtel Zich on Anivus. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. A person who knows his place. A person, Shivisi Hashem and Negetami. Fellas, if we had Hashem in front of us all the time, how's it possible to get angry? How's it possible to be fully yourself? It's not possible. It's not possible. I don't know about you. I again, this is tape for posterity, but there's two ways to make it into the end zone, like Barry Sanders or like Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens would make it into the end zone, and he would right away be pumping his number and going on his back. And Barry Sanders took the ball, gave it to the referee. Act like you've been there before.
Make like you've been there before.
It's the way. I just said it so Penny should get involved. Anyway, so
Involved. I'm here. Hello. I'm right here.
That's the truth. People are not fooling themselves. They play their team members, and then you see people who it's all about them. That's what life is. Like Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want life to be about us. The word narcissistic doesn't exist in Hashem's lexicon. It's not there. It's not there. That's what we're discussing this evening. I think it's a lesson that we all, just if you Shavisi Hashem like the sun, if you have Kadosh Baruch Hu in front of you all the time, not possible. And you know what? And no matter who you are, there's someone bigger than you, there's richer than you, there's stronger than you, there's better athlete than you, there's smarter than you. It's always like that. It's like that. There's always someone. It's always someone. And it's a good way to live your life. Okay, more about being a Shval Ruach. Amar Rabbi Elazar. Kol sheish b'gasei ruach, says Rabbi Elazar, anyone who's a gasei ruach, royal legadoi kasher. You should cut him down like an asherah tree. An asherah trees, they served up by the Zara. Sivhacha v'ramei hakoyma gedoyim. Those people who are high, that will be cut down. And it says, uksiv hasam v'asherehem tigadeyon. So you have the lashon of Gimel Dalet Ayin, shirish used by people who are ramei, people who are arrogant, and you have it used by a sheira, by an asherah tree. By Tchias HaMesim, they're not going to be back. Shneimar hakitzu v'rananu shoichne afar. Hakitzus, get up. V'rananu, sing. Shoichne, people who live, afar. Shoichne afar lo'inema. It doesn't say people who are lying in the dust, dead people. People who dwell in the dust. That means people. Mishanasa shachin la'afar b'chayav. A person who made himself low in his lifetime. Any person who has gasei ruach, shkina miyalel salav. Because Baruch Hu miyalel, he sings kina, he sings laments over him. Shneimar ugevoya mimerchak yeyeda. Says Hakadosh Baruch Hu says that the people who are baligaiva, he's yeda. I think he's in Avelis, Merachak, from afar. Darish Abavira, Vitim Rabbi Elazar. Bore Shaleki Midas HaKadosh Baruch Hu Midas Basav Adam. Midas Basav Adam, Gavoya Roya Esa Gavoya. Person who is a chashra person, who does he want to hang out with? He wants to hang out with chashra people. Being Goiva Roya Esa Shafal, but he doesn't want to hang out with people beneath his status. Avo Midas HaKadosh Baruch Hu Eina came. Who Gavoya Roya Esa Shafal, Vishnema Ki Ram Hashem V'Shafal Yira HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Who does he hang out with? Because Baruch Hu hangs Kaviyachal with the lower people. Amar Kistavitim Rab Umar Rokfa. Chaladim Sheish B'Gasei Ruach. Anyone has Gasei Ruach. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu says, Ein ani v'hu yicholim lo daboilam. We can't live together in the same world. I cannot be in the same world, which would make sense. This person doesn't want to be with me. He doesn't recognize me. Hashem says, I don't want to be with him. Shneimar miloshni baseiser ehu. Someone who goes ahead and speaks lashon hara secretly. Oisei atzmis, him I'll cut down. Geva einayim, a person who goes ahead and lifts up his eyes, or a chav levav, and a person who has an expansive heart. Oisla uchal, him I can't be with. Al tikri oisai, don't read oisai eleitai leuchal. With him I can't be. They speak by the first part of the pasuk. That Hakadosh Baruch Hu can't be with people who speak lashon hara. Shneimar miloshni baseiser ehu oisei atzmis. Amar Rabbi Alexandra, Kol Adam Sheish B'Gasei Ruach, any person who has this midah, Afil Ruach Kimo Echartoi. Even if a wind comes along, it goes ahead and stares him. Shneimar, Varishoyim Kayom Nirgosh. Rishoyim, they're going ahead, they'll be Rogash, they'll be moved like the sea. Umay Yam Sheish B'Kam Reviyos. How many Reviyos are in the Yam? Trillions of Reviyos in the Yam. Ruach Kimo Echartoi, a little wind comes along and stares it, makes waves. Adam Shein Ba'el Reviyos Achas, a person who survives on one Reviyos Adam. We know that Reviyas Adam came with Tam of Mason, right? Masechta Nazir, the person can live Reviyas Adam, right? So Alachas Kama Vakana, that a little bit can go ahead and share. Amar Rav Chia Barashi, Amar Rav, Talmud Chacham Tzarech Shehei by Echan Mishmeina Shmeina. Talmud Chacham should have 1/8 of an eighth of what of Gaiva. Amar Rav Hun Rav Yeshua, Uma'atro Lei Kiksasa L'Shivalta, and it should crown him like what the beard of on a stalk. Amar Rava Bishamta de Isbei, a person who was Bishamta the less bay. You put him in Cherim, someone who has too much, and Bishamta the less bay, someone who doesn't have any, because he's trodden upon. It should be too low. Like Rav Moshe, watch what you're talking to. I'm Rav Nachman Yitzchak. Loy mina loy miktsasa. You shouldn't have all of it or part of it. Mi zutu d'chsiv bei. Pe'avas Hashem kol gvalev. So this says you shouldn't have any of it. According to the opinion of before, you should have some gaiva. According to this opinion, you shouldn't have any gaiva. You should have any gaiva whatsoever. Because Toiv Hashem kol gavar leiv. Amar Chizkiah ain't tefillas shalom nishmas ella in kain mason liboy kibasa. When is a person's tefillah heard? When he makes himself liboy kibasa, it should be soft like meat. Shneimar midei chodesh b'chadshoy yavi kol basa l'shtachvos. Every new moon, all people should come and daven for Kadosh Baruch Hu. Amar B'Seira basa ksivbei v'nirpa. It says by tzaras basar, and it gets better. Adam like ksivbei nirpa. By Adam by tzaras, it doesn't say nirpa. Rashi brings the psukim. So Amar Rabbi Yaakov Adam. What's the Rashi Tevis of Adam? It's Efer Dam Mara. He's made of dust. He's made of blood, and he's made of Mara, which is bile. Basa is busha, srucha, and rima. What is basa? That is busha is that he's shameful. Srucha, that he smells, and rima, he's wormy. And ikid yami shol, instead of go ahead and saying srucha, instead of saying busha, shin, saying srucha, go ahead and say what? Shoil, which reminds you of Gehenim, Yichsiv B'Shin. Now I saw a shot, guys, from the Sefer called Karen Oira. What's the need of Basa? Basa, this Rashi Tevis, Busha, Rima, Srucha. And what are we discussing? That the tefillah of such a person is heard, because this person is not a Gaiva Leva, he's not a Bal Gaiva. Hainu, when a person makes himself like Basa, how do you make yourself like basa? That you look at three things. What does it say in Pirkei Avos? You look at three things. Busha, hainu sheyad lefnei mihu asalit litin dish v'cheshbin. In the future, you're going to have to give dim v'cheshbin in front of Kadosh Baruch Hu. Srucha, where you come from, a type of srucha of zera, and rima. In the end, you're going to be worms. Those three things, basa, srucha, and rima, will go ahead, and that'll be a very, very good method of ensuring that what you will be a shval ruach, and you won't be a bal gaiva. Amar Ravashi, kolom sheyesh b'gas ruach l'seif nifchas. In the end, he's going to go ahead and he's going to become nifchas lo. Shnemar amid beis, it says ulasei sapachas. Now we're speaking about there's a tzras called sapachas, and seis is a subdivision of this, right? And it seems to be that they're going to dash in these terms. They say sapachas. Bein seis eloloshin gavoya. Seis loshin of Nisia. It's Shnema Vakol HaHorim HaRoim HaKol HaGvois HaNisois, that are what? Are hills that are raised up high. So you see the Shoirish of Laseis is Sin Aleph Saf. The Ein Sapachas El Tefela. And Sapachas is what? Is secondary. It's a subsidiary. Shnemar Sefacheni No Al Achas HaKuhunos Lechol. Attach me. Go ahead, attach me to one of the one of the kahanim to go ahead and eat some bread. How people that are low and consider themselves low are in front of Kodesh Baruch Hu. When the Beis Hamikdash was standing, a person would bring an oila, and schar oila biyada, he would have the schar of an oila. Mincha, if he brought a mincha, schar mincha biyada, he had the schar of a mincha. Somebody who's humble, it's like he bought all the kabbanas. Shenemar, because it says Zivche Elokim Ruach Nishbara. This Zivche, but that's the loshon of Rabbim. The loshon of Rabbim of different kabbanas, Ruach Nishbara is a broken spirit. So again, you're not limited to an oil, you're not limited to a mincha, you're extended to all the kabbanas. His tefillah will never be rejected. Shnemar Leiv Nishbar V'nitcha, the person whose leiv is nishpa, broken, beniska, and he's crushed, Elokim le'sivzeh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu won't despise. Rabbi Shimon Levi, kol ha-som archoisa b'olam hazeh, whoever goes ahead and he evaluates his ways in this world, zoicha broi b'shuasa shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, b'zoicha tzil yishuv Hashem, shlemar, som derech arenu b'yesh Elokim. Those people who go ahead may make a cheshbon of the ways they're going, they'll see in the salvation of Hashem. Al tikrei some, don't say those who set, the shum. Those people go ahead and make a shuma, they make an evaluation. Okay, the Mishnah said, the Ketzim Mekanim, what's an example? If you go back to the Mishnah, okay, let's go back to the Mishnah so we'll understand what's going on over here. Okay, guys, sorry, Penny, I'm sorry we stopped the Agadah part of the program. The last time we saw Penny on a steady basis was Masechta Tainus. I wonder why. Anyway, so we have
What's up next? What do we got? Sotah, whoever.
Sotah, then we have a C in Penny. Says Ketzad. Yeah, so Ketzad Maknala. How do you do kinoi? So Amallah b'fnei shnayim. You say to your wife in front of two people, Al tidabri in ish twaini. Do not speak to so and so. V'dibra imay, and he does speak. She speaks to him. Adayin hi muteres lebeisa. She's mutter to a house. Umuteres lecha b'truma. However, nichnasa imay lebeisa seisar. If she would go inside behind closed doors, yishasa imay kedei tuma, and be there the time it takes, as we saw yesterday. Well, actually, we saw this morning. Asura lebeisa. Now, if you look at it literally, you warned her not to speak, and you spoke. That's not stira. But if you warned her to speak, and then she was behind closed doors, then that was stira. In other words, this is look at the Mishnah. This is the Mishnah has a problem. How do you warn your wife? So it says, don't speak to so and so, and she does. That's not kinoi. Because you know what kinoi is? If after you say to her, don't speak to so and so, and then she's behind closed doors with so and so, that would be kinoi. But you just told me in one sentence that dibur is not kinoi. Guys, flow along you know the answer to it already. But if you flow along from the Mishnah, it doesn't make any sense. In other words, we know kinoi is do not be behind closed doors with that individual. But that's not what the Mishnah says. The Mishnah says, what is kinoi? Don't speak to him, and you speak to him. That's not kinoi. But then if you're behind closed doors, that is. But you never told her not to be behind closed doors. You just said don't speak. That's what the Gemara is going to discuss right now. Good? So says the Gemara. Ketzad Maknala. Hagufa kasha. See what that, guys, when you make a laning, see that little chaf there? You got to look back, or else it makes no sense to you whatsoever. That the thing your Rebbe never taught you. It's the most important thing. You read a few words and it makes no sense. You go back to the Mishnah, now it makes sense. Hukufa kasha, it's selfish fair. I mean, the one in you said, Amallah, b'fnei shnayim, al tidar b'yimish plini, zeh alma dibur stirahu. V'hada tani, dibura imoy adayim muteres lebesa, muteres lechla b'truma. Alma dibur lav klamu. So what is it? So I'm going to buy a hachi kamar. Al tidabri, don't speak. V'dibra, al tidabri, v'nistera, or then it's nothing. However, alt history, do not be behind closed doors. Interject those words, guys. We didn't say that in the Mishnah. Alt history, do not be behind closed doors. V'dibra imai, and she speaks to him. Adai muteres lebesa, u'muteres lechol b'tshuma. Why? Because you gave a kinoi not to be behind closed doors, and she just spoke. However, nichnasa imai lebesa seiser, after warning her not to be behind closed doors, and in fact, then she was behind closed doors, the shasa kedei tuma, and she waited this shear would take to go ahead and do the act. Asur lebesa, asur lechol truma should be also to besa and also to eat truma. Okay, thank you. Thanks everyone on the short notice coming in. Bez Hashem, we have tried to make one more blot up this week. We'll see how we're going to do it. Okay.